You ready for the commies?
Yeah, the Washington football skins. Probably the most underrated roster in the NFL outside of quarterback.
Yeah, and O line. I hate their O line. Really scares me. But yeah,
Yeah,
their receiver core, their running back room, their defense. I mean, they're stacked everywhere else.
yeah, and I think their offensive line is going to get a little bit better this year. And Sam Howell had a lot of juice the year before he got drafted. So, I mean, obviously,
I was listening
you got
to.
to be obviously you got to be pretty good to be drafted in the NFL at quarterback. But I mean, he would have been a first round pick if he would have came out the year before.
I was listening to
And
something
then he
about him today that was talking about his senior year. They completely changed the offense on him. I'm not sure if that's when Mac Brown came to North Carolina or not, but it just it wiped it
they
into
got a new
an
offensive coordinator.
RPO heavy
And
team that was really just not what he was excelling at doing.
Matt Brown was already there, but they hired a new offensive coordinator
Okay.
and completely shit tanked the North Carolina season that year. Bet on him a lot that year. Very, very disappointed. But Sam Howell has a ton of talent. Um, so I mean, if they can get the most out of it, quarterback's so weird because you a lot of guys like you can go through so many backups in the league and be like, why aren't you good?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you should be good. Why aren't you good? Like do something, bro. It's like that meme with like the stick or
Yeah.
like the dude holding the stick. He
Yeah.
was like, "Why don't you do
Yeah. Do
something?"
something.
Yeah, but I mean, he Sam Howell's another one of these guys. Like I also love Sam Darnold in that San Fran offense. I think if he gets a shot, he's gonna freaking excel in that offense. But we're not talking about the 49ers. Sam Howell in this offense. I mean, yeah, I mean if the coaching's right and he can play at a top 20 level at quarterback, this team is going to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, they're going to be feisty all year with a defense like this. Their offense, I mean, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel at receiver is nothing to scoff at. And then you got Antonio Gibson, who is a heck. I mean, he played a little wide
And
receiver in
Brian Robinson.
college, so a heck of a receiving back. Plus Brian Robinson, who really came on strong down the stretch last year. Like that is some really good skill position personnel. My concern is they did not do enough along the O line to really help it. Like Leno's fine. Leno's a fine player. Just like
I think Cosme's all right.
Cosme's all right. You're right. Ricky Stromberg, I loved him in the draft. I think he's going to be a really good center in the NFL, but he's a rookie center.
Yeah, and
And Andrew
I
Wiley,
think Andrew Wiley can get better.
I don't know if he can get better on a worse O line though. Like I think you're
Yeah,
asking him to be an anchor on this O line in a way, and I'm not sure that's what he
I,
is. Um, and
I
then
love that. I love the corner they took out of Mississippi State. I can't remember his name, and I can't read it on the
Emmanuel
graphic. It's kind of
Forbes.
blurry. Emmanuel Forbes. But I don't love him on this defense. I loved a lot of guys in the draft that I didn't love where they
Oh,
actually landed.
see, I disagree. I
But
love him in this defense.
oh, do you?
Yeah, I mean so they're not going to ask him to press man a lot. They're going to ask him to play off.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, I thought I thought they were going to play more of a man coverage, and that's why I didn't like it. But
I think they were forced to
um,
play more of a man coverage last year, and I don't think it's what they want to do. I think you're going to ask St. Juice
yeah,
to
I
play in
think
the
you're thinking of
nickel and play more man. Fuller can like you can play more quarter half stuff where like Forbes is further off and Fuller is right on the line. Like I think that they're going to get more interesting with it.
yeah. So I mean, if they can manage to keep him out of man situations, I think they'll be all right. But I mean, you look at the division. I mean, he can't man up with AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Brandon Cooks, or CeeDee Lamb. Um, so it's gonna be tough going if
Yeah.
that's the case. But if they're playing off and playing more of like a too high zone or something, or even a man zone where he's got some help from the safety, if he is playing man, I think he'll be all right.
I
But
think you're going to see more split field concepts of like Forbes is playing either off man or a zone concept off the line of scrimmage. He's not being asked to chuck guys at the line of scrimmage. And you might see Fuller or St. Juice on the other side playing more on the line of scrimmage, pressing maybe a half field. So on Fuller's side, you're getting man. On Forbes' side, you're getting zone. Stuff like that, I think, could get really interesting with where they're taking, like, if maybe they bring in more quarters and more. I mean, you can make quarters and cover three into essentially man coverage in ways. And when they drafted Jartavius Martin, I thought it made it really interesting because you might almost see. I have this thought in my brain of like, are they going to try to do some stuff where like Forbes is almost playing like cloud coverage at times, and Martin might be playing more man, but from a safety alignment or from a linebacker alignment, and really just start playing with the quarterback's eyes like that. Like I think that they might have some really interesting stuff in store because they have more defensive backs that should be starting than they can start. So I think they're going to get really interesting on the back end.
What I'm interested to see is if Chase Young can come back and be Chase Young, because outside of the flash that he made, I think it was his rookie year, and then he had the injury. I mean, he's been
the guy has like
very, very lackluster.
I think he has like something like 8 career sacks or 11 career sacks. Like it's,
and I think 6 of those came like in his first 10 games or something.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I hope he gets right because he's so talented, but like it hasn't happened since those first 10 games.
Yeah, and then you look at the rest of the line: Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. I mean, they got some studs on this defensive line.
This was one of the best defenses in the NFL last year. I don't think people realize
were
that.
they?
Yeah, they were number 7 in points allowed, number 4 in yards, number 5 in EPA.
They weren't good in fantasy.
Number 1 in success rate.
They might have been.
Like, I mean, they were really freaking good. This team went 8-1, and they had no offense to speak of.
Oh, Terry McLaurin's quite something to speak of.
So going into week 5, I think it was, when the Bears played them on Thursday Night Football, I was like scrambling to try to get my video out, my scouting report on them, and like just spent all of Monday, I think it was, just diving into the tape and trying, and like their offense, it was just like, what the hell am I watching? Like, what are they doing? Like, they couldn't do anything. Nothing until garbage time. They were just complete. They were so lost.
Yep. And, like, remember when the Bears beat the shit out of the 49ers in like week 4?
Week 1?
Was that week 1?
They beat the Niners week 1.
The rain game?
No, yeah.
Rain game.
That was week 1. Everyone got all excited.
Yeah, and then they got the number overall pick.
Yeah, it was quite the ride. The Bears were 500 after 4 games.
And they got the number overall pick.
Yep.
But you just said when you were watching this team and the Bears, and just like popped in my head, I'm like, oh yeah. Remember when the Bears beat the team that should have gone to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
If they had a quarterback.
But there is one spot or 2 spots on this team that really concerned me, and it's Nick Gates and Andrew Wiley. I mean, you can throw Stromberg in there too. I'm not going to rip a rookie. You know, like a rookie center is hard, so he might not be everything you want him to be. Part of that might just be me being upset because you drafted my guy right before the Bears picked. But anyways, those are the Nick Gates worries me. Andrew Wiley worries me. Cosme's fine. Leno's fine. Stromberg's a rookie. But those 2 spots, I think, are big risks on this roster.
I got a question for you.
What's that?
So this team is plus 1,300 to win the division. What do you think their odds would be to win either the NFC North, the NFC South, or the NFC West? They got to be pushing plus 200 on most of those.
Yeah,
Maybe not NFC North,
maybe plus
but
plus
NFC
300. I think
NFC South and NFC West, they might be the best team in both of those divisions.
NFC West,
Maybe Seattle's a little bit better than them.
San Fran.
Oh, yeah. What I forgot about San Fran. But okay, so maybe they're the second best team in the West, second best team in the North, or I would say they're kind of right on par with Chicago. Actually, their question marks are completely different places, but I would say team totality.
Man, if you put Kirk Cousins on this team, how do you feel?
Damn good.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I
like even with my O-line concerns, I think like with McLaurin and Dotson, and these running backs. I mean,
okay.
Actually, I don't know. So like I like these running backs, but this O-line run blocking is really scary. Like they're just not great at it.
Let's say the Washington football Skins didn't have historically a field that just rips people's careers away from them in a heartbeat. RG3 was on this team. How good do you feel about this team?
Really good. Because then my O-line concerns drop and my run game concerns drop because you're playing 10 on 11.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I hope they get a new field sooner rather than later, because if Micah Parsons fucking goes down on that field, I'm gonna go to fucking Rajon, Maryland, and burn that motherfucker to the ground myself. I promise you that.
That's a promise. All right, so
I will commit arson in the nation's capital
of Rajon, Maryland.
Rajon, Maryland. All right, so not strength of schedule. Obviously, when you play the Cowboys and Eagles 4 times out of your 17 games, you're going to have a pretty tough strength of schedule. Yeah. But let's open it up here. Arizona, Denver, Buffalo, Philly. I think best case scenario, this is 2-2. Probably more of a 1-3 though.
1-3.
I think Denver's. I would say Denver's more of a toss-up. Because even if Sean Payton does magically turn that thing around and then Russell Wilson is great again and everything, like, that defense is still going to give Russ a lot of issues. And that's a big defensive line, and you never know. But I would say Denver's a toss-up.
Yeah, I'd say toss-up is the furthest you could go, because September in Denver is about as hard as it gets for a home field advantage. Game.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that being like the Denver-Atlanta game last year, where everybody had a lot of high hopes. Like, oh, maybe Marcus Mariota is going to be good again. Oh, we have Russell Wilson with all these receivers in Denver. It's Mile High. It's second week of the season. Everybody's like thrilled. It's Thursday Night Football, and it was a fucking 6-9 game and one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life. I could see that being week 2 again here.
Yeah. I could definitely see that.
But no, I would say best case scenario 2-2, probably looking at 1-3 though.
Yeah.
Then we got Chicago, Atlanta, Giants, Philly. I think this could be a 2-2 stretch, possibly even 3-1. Chicago on Thursday night's going to be tough, but you have the defense for Chicago. And if you can run the ball against them, I think they could possibly control the line of scrimmage. So I would say that's a toss-up.
Any game you can win.
The toss-up in favor of the Washington.
Any game you can win the line of scrimmage, you toss up at least. And they can win the line of scrimmage in Chicago.
I would say a toss-up with the advantage going towards Washington. Then Atlanta, Atlanta's very well coached. They're going to have a lot of talent. But I'm not sold on Desmond Ridder. I might take Sam Howell over Desmond Ridder at this point. As much as I like Arthur Smith, I think old Riverboat Ron gets it done there, and I think they win in Atlanta. New York is a true toss-up to me. And then I don't think it's impossible that they can catch Philly snoozing there.
Interesting. So
I think they were the team that beat Philly last year to break their undefeated record.
I'm giving them toss-ups in Chicago, Atlanta, New York, and then I'm Philly's
Then,
going to win because they caught Philly sleeping last year. I'm not giving them a chance to this year.
yeah, I mean, but I think they're also a better team than they were last year. But that's either here nor there. I mean, I think best case scenario that's 3-1. I think it's more likely a 2-2.
Man,
And then we have at New England, at Seattle, New York, and Dallas. Back-to-back road games at New England and Seattle. That's pretty rough. Two very hard places to play. I would say they best case scenario split that. I think they could probably get one on New York there, and I wouldn't put it past them to beat Dallas either. So it's another. I mean, I'm literally giving them a toss up at every game.
I
but
know I'm doing the
2-2
same. When your
there.
D line is this good, it's hard to not be a toss up against teams who aren't like elite. But like, so I feel like I'm just going toss up, no, toss up, toss up, no.
Yeah, but then I think they can catch Dallas there.
Yeah, I'm not giving them Dallas.
And then after that, we have Miami, Rams, Jets, San Fran, Dallas. I could see this being one. This is probably 1-4 for me. All these teams are probably going to be needing wins at the end of the season. Miami's in a tough division. I think they lose to Miami. I think they beat the Rams. I think the Jets are going to be in a dogfight for the division and possibly even a playoff run. And then San Fran, I could maybe see them in a scenario where they're at like 10 wins, but they've already secured the division, and there's no way they can get the number one overall pick or the number one seed. So I can see like Dallas and Philly both being at like 11 wins. San Fran already having the division locked up, but only at 9 wins, and then it's basically impossible for them to get like the number one seed. So they just punt on it. Because they want to stay healthy.
I'm right there with Vegas. I got them at 6, and if Dallas is sitting, that's 7. So like,
yeah,
I've got them there.
I basically have toss ups the whole time, but I will say plus 1,300 to win this division. Like, I think Dallas and Philly are both much more talented than them, but I think they're right on par with New York, and at plus 1,300, I think that value is ludicrous for a division.
That value is the only.
Like, we're talking about division here.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah. We're talking about winning a division that is going to beat the shit out of each other. And if Dallas and Philly don't run away with it, 9 wins could win the division.
Yeah, I can. That's the best value on this. Is plus 1,300 win division. That's just. Yeah. It's the only bet I'm throwing down. I mean, the rest of these just don't really add up. Make the playoffs at plus 280 or win division at 1,300. I mean, I just said I have them at 6 to 7 wins. The over-under's out the window. I mean, like.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to win the NFC, so.
I think this is the best NFC East we've seen in a long time, which is crazy because I don't know if it'll get 3 teams. And they've gotten 3 teams like 4 times in the past 10 years. And a lot of those times the division really hasn't been that good.
Yeah.
They just all kind of like steal wins from each other and then all end up at like 9 wins at the end of the year. And it's like, we got 3 teams from the NFC East. But this might possibly be the most talented NFC East we've seen in 20, 25 years.
Yeah. It's really damn
top to
good.
bottom.
It is really good.
Yeah.